I realize I kind of look like a clown with my hair, kind of like this. This is my, I've been working at a con for the last 12 hours and I don't give a. And this tattoo is fake, by the way. This is not real. We're going to do my what I watched in October, and boy, I have a big pile, a pretty big pile. But before we do that, Pesadilla is officially live on Amazon. You can check out my feature film. It would mean the world to me, seriously. Also, you can check out my link tree, all my other stuff, my short films and such. It would, again, mean a lot. Pesadilla comes out on Blu-ray in December, so if you guys like it on Amazon, you can check it out. Now, I have a really big pile here. This is this is not good. So what I'm going to do, which I've gotten criticism for this, not talking about each film in great detail. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because I have so many, and I'm also really tired. But it works out because I get an extra hour of sleep because the times are, the time is going backwards. See, I can't even talk. But let's go ahead and get started. So there's a lot of spooky films because it's October, and the first film we're going to talk about is Dead Birds, which is one that I saw a YouTube video, and it was somebody basically saying that this was one of the scariest films that they had ever saw. I don't think it's one of the scariest films I've ever seen, but I think it's pretty underrated. It's very interesting. It's a period piece. It's set in the 1800s, and a bunch of bank robbers are coming in. I guess they're bank robbers. They're trying to hide out in this house, and there's a bunch of spooky stuff going on. But it's very interesting, especially the ending, which I don't want to spoil it because it involves these creatures. And it's a very unique twist. It also has Muse Watson, if you're familiar with him, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. He actually lives close to me, which is kind of wild. We had the same hairstylist, which is kind of funny, which you couldn't tell. But yeah, it was good for what it was. I enjoyed it. I would recommend checking it out because I don't know if it'll ever get a Blu-ray upgrade. I would honestly love to have a 4K of this because you can tell that some of the cinematography in this is really well shot. But if you're looking for something niche, this might be right up your alley. So I've been on a Brady Corbett kick because I'm excited for The Brutalist. Gosh, that film looks so good. But this is a film that his wife made, and it's called The World to Come. And it's not as spicy as I thought it would be, except for the ending, which I won't spoil anything for that. It's a really unique montage. I liked it. It's atmospheric. I don't really have too much to add. This was one that whenever it first came out, I wanted to check it out. This is actually a library copy. I had to get a library copy to buy it, which is cool. There's some films like that where you can't, find the normal copy. But this is about two couples that live semi-close to each other, and the two women fall in love. It's unique. All right, hang on. I got to get into it. I can't be tired. I just know if I don't film this now, I'm not going to get it filmed. So, okay, here we go. We're going to do it. The Mortuary Collection. This was another one that I heard a lot of stuff about, and I think this was the first film that I watched throughout the month. This is pretty good. I like Shudder films. I think Shudder does a really good job releasing their films. They definitely choose some pretty interesting ones. I do hope that Shudder gets a lot bigger, but if you're a fan of anthology films, this is a pretty good one. There's some stories that are more entertaining than others, but there's one where Jacob Elordi, something happens to him. It's very unique. Definitely does not happen in Priscilla. That's kind of a joke. Probably didn't work. Oh well. Another film that I watched was Mario Bava's Black Sabbath. Now this is one that's been on my list for a while. It's another anthology film, but it's very stylistic. It's very stylistic. Like it is, I don't know, there's just something about a Mario Bava film that all of his films look they're very brightly lit. There's a lot of colors. But this one it's enjoyable, and I don't want to say that there's some stories that are stronger than others because I feel like each story was pretty unique in its own right, which I think that's why this is one of the most influential anthology films. So you'll probably have a good time watching it. I'm trying to remember what the first story was. Oh yeah, it was a telephone. That was a pretty good one. I like it. And you can kind of tell that there's sets, like they're actually filming on a set, which I don't know, it adds a little bit of charm to it. And another one that I got is The Hitcher. This is the 4K set from Second Sight. This set is beautiful. I love Second Sights. I don't think it's necessarily the price that's the problem. It's just they're so big, so they take up so much shelf space. But I ended up pre-ordering the new Blair Witch and Creep, which was a pleasant surprise. But Second Sight, I mean, they're over here doing God's work. I absolutely love Second Sight. I cannot wait to see what else they come out with. I get excited every single time a Second Sight comes out. The House is the October Built. Now, I did not watch the second one, but I'm a really big fan of found footage films. I will say this is something that I say a lot. I think it's the most positive thing to say. There's people that enjoy it more than I do, but I could see if you guys like Hell House LLC and stuff like that, you would probably enjoy this. It has enjoyable parts. I don't know if I should watch the second one. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen the second one and it's worth watching. This is a double pack, but yeah, I mean, it's atmospheric. I mean, a lot of the haunted house found footage films are atmospheric. I mean, let's go ahead and face. I mean, because Hell House is going to be on this in a second, so we'll talk about that later. Then I watched Dark Water, which this one was. If you're a fan of J-horror, this needs to be around the top of your list. It's so good. It's so atmospheric. It's paced very well. It has a very brisk pace, and it has some pretty genuinely creepy imagery. Like, it was nothing that I jumped over or anything. Like, I don't jump a lot whenever it comes to films, unless I'm watching like Smile 2 or something. But yeah, this is still very solid watch. Arrow release. If you like J-horror, you should definitely watch this. Night of the Demon. This film is amazing. This film is great. There is a section of this film which I don't want to. So the creature that you see in this, which it's on the cover, it's going to be on any poster that you see. It has a very faint appearance in the film itself, but I feel like they utilize it in a way to where it's very impactful whenever you do see it. And in a way, it kind of reminded me of Night of the Hunter, just in terms of the tone. I don't know why, but it's very enjoyable because there's a lot of films that come out in like the 50s that are horror films, and they don't really do a lot in terms of the creep factor. Like, if I had to think of some that do, I mean, Night of the Hunter would be one. And then you could look at like The Innocents and The Haunting and stuff. I mean, yeah, those definitely have their moments. But this one right here, it was genuinely creepy, and it has some pretty, I don't want to say tough subject matter, but I mean, for the time, probably. But this one also comes with Curse of the Demon, which is the 82-minute long version. I watched just the standard one. There's also a really cool Blu-ray release for this that I did not get. But yeah, if you guys have not seen Night of the Demon, it's so good. Like, it's my voice just crackled. And then I watched Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the 4K. It had been forever since I watched this film. And one thing that I've realized about Wes Craven, I did it again. My voice only cracks whenever I'm tired. Let's try this again. Wes Craven. One thing that I've noticed about Wes Craven is his framing is top notch. Wes Craven. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Again, Wes Craven, if you look at any like top horror films, the man usually has like 2 or 3 on each list. I mean, he is such a terrific director. I mean, you can't help but watch his films and think that they're very precise. Like, I mean, especially with the cinematography. And it had been a while since I'd seen this film, and it holds up. Nightmare on Elm Street is great. When I was watching this, I really want to revisit Dream Warriors and A New Nightmare, because I think A New Nightmare is like, if you've not seen A New Nightmare, you should definitely check it out. And then I bought the Blu-ray for Maxine. I enjoyed this, although it's probably my least favorite of the trilogy. I still like Pearl the best, probably. X was pretty good. This one's good as well. I saw this in theater. I actually saw this early, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I like Maxine. Kevin Bacon was great in it. I like all the little nods to past movies, especially with Kevin Bacon and like the Chinatown reference. It's good. I'm very curious if they'll make another one. But yeah, I mean, a lot of hype for this one, especially in the community. I mean, yeah. And then I got Kinds of Kindness, which Yorgos Lanthimos is one of my favorite working directors today, and I enjoyed the first 2 stories in this. I was not big on the third one, but the first story is really good. Like, it could have been a movie in itself. Another anthology film. I think there might be... I think there's another anthology... Yeah, there's another anthology film on this list. So yeah, I watched a few anthology films. Come on, get at me. Quiet Place of Day One. This was one... I'm showing you the back. Yeah, Quiet Place of Day One. Quiet Place of Day One, I did not get a chance to revisit this, but I did buy the Blu-ray, and I liked it. I don't think it's my favorite. I still really like the first one, but A Quiet Place, I want to see different scenarios with the story, so yeah, but I liked it. It's good. Got the Blu-ray. I did not get the 4K. Probably should have, because, I mean, the cinematography in this is really good. I mean, it looks... It's a high budget. It's a very high budget horror film. I mean, what else are you going to expect? And then I watched Silent Hill, which it's been forever since I saw this, because I watched this in anticipation of the Silent Hill 2 remake that I've been playing, which, by the way, is phenomenal. It's really good. If you guys have not played it and you're a fan of games, it's so good. It's so good. I love games like that, like Resident Evil. All the remakes for that have been really good. So I hope they do the same thing with Silent Hill. I'm getting off the topic, but it is long. that's one thing about this film. It is long. It's 2 hours long. It's over 2 hours long. It's directed by Christoph Gans, which I'm excited to see return to Silent Hill, although I've not heard anything about that since they showed the footage. But yeah, this was one that I've been waiting to revisit for a while, and I noticed there were some issues with this Blu-ray, and I don't know if you guys have had similar problems, but there's like weird aspect ratio changes, or I don't know if it's just the way that it's framed. Also, there's some dead pixels that popped up, which I'm not sure what that's all about, but I maybe it's mine. I don't know. I hope it's not. If so, that would suck. And then I watched Seconds, which became one of my favorite films, honestly. Like, this film is so good. It's on the Criterion Collection. If you're looking for like a really good, subtle sci-fi film, I made a whole video about this, so if you guys want to check it out, you definitely can. This set is awesome. This is the Hell House LLC box set. I enjoyed the first one. The second and third I'm not too big on, but Hell House LLC Origins is one of my, like, it's in my top 30 favorite films. I don't know how it happened, but it just is. And it's so well executed. Like, the Hell House LLC films are so good. So excited for the new one. The fourth one, Origins, is amazing. If you've not seen it, you guys have to check it out. It is like, it's so good. It's so good. And I saw this one in theaters, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's probably my favorite of the Deadpools. I laughed my ass off in this. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's just really funny. The part where Chris Evans pops, it's so good. Like, you should definitely check it out. It actually was like my top 4 of the month whenever it came out. And then I got the Signs 4K, which I haven't had a chance to check out yet, so I'm not going to talk about that. I also got the Sixth Sense, which I still haven't had a chance to check that one out yet, the 4K transfers, but I really wanted to because I'm so glad M. Night Shyamalan's older films are getting 4Ks. If we can just get The Village, that would be awesome. And this is the Janus Contemporaries of About Dry Grasses. This film is fantastic. Neri Bilge Ceylan is one of the best directors working today. If you have not checked out his filmography, you should definitely do so. He is fantastic. Like, he is a GOAT. I mean, he is literally one of the best directors working, and I'm so glad that this got a Janus Contemporary. I would love for his other films to get releases from like Criterion or whatever, because I have his box set, but it's Region B. Once Upon a Time in Anatolia is one of my favorite films. But yeah, this is definitely worth the watch. I would recommend checking it out, and don't look up anything about it. It's long at like 3 hours and 20 something minutes, but it doesn't matter. I also made a video ranking Neri Bilge Ceylan's films. If you guys want to check that out, you can. We Are Still Here. I was very much so looking forward to watching this, and it had its moments, but it did not work for me completely. If you look at the critic score and the audience score, there's like a really big difference, so I know I'm not the only one. But this was one that's been sitting in my watch pile forever, and I figured, you know what, why not watch it for spooky season? And then Oddity. This is one of the best horror films to come out this year. Genuinely creepy. If you were a fan of Caveat, you'll definitely enjoy this. This is probably my favorite. It is so atmospheric. It is brooding in atmosphere, especially the beginning of it. I cannot recommend this one enough. This is one that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, and it's one of the best films of 2024, like seriously. And then I watched Twisters, which I didn't like it better than the first one. I know this film had a pretty big following, especially where I live. There's a lot of people talking about this film. But I mean, it's a nice, fun disaster movie. I mean, what else can you ask for? Oh, okay, I have two more anthology films. Tales of Halloween. This one had some pretty enjoyable moments, I'm not going to lie. I actually enjoyed it. I heard a lot of Trick or Treat comparisons. I did a live stream. I was a special guest on AMV Horror Films. This was one that they talked about, so I figured I would check it out. It's got 10 stories. It's got a lot of stories, but they're all pretty unique. And there's one that reminded me a little bit of Satan's Little Helper, which was probably my favorite one of the bunch, but there's some pretty unique stuff there. And then David Fincher's Zodiac. Masterpiece. Great film. I don't know what happened with this 4K release. The DNR is insane. I don't know, like, if I don't know. I'm so mixed on this 4K release. Like, if I rewatch this film, I might opt for the Blu-ray. If you guys have had any issues with this, please let me know, because I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of struggled with this. I'm not going to lie. It was because I think the issue was it was filmed in 1080p. A lot of those films back in the 2010s were filmed in 1080p, so when you're trying to do a 4K upscale, there's just something. It's kind of like a little uncanny, I'm not going to lie. Just something about it. And then you guys are going to make fun of me because I got these on DVD. But the reason being is because I cannot find the Blu-ray anywhere. And it kind of sucks because I pre-ordered one of these for the Blu-ray and it said it was out of stock. So I went to Walmart, I found them for cheap on DVD, and I got them. When it comes to DVD and Blu-ray and 4K, I mean, as long as I get it on physical media, I don't really care. I know some people are pretty anal about only owning 4Ks or Blu-rays, but for me, I can deal with the DVD, especially if it's not something crazy like cinematography wise, where I just want to own it, you know, just so I can revisit it. But that's Winnie the Pooh 2, Blood and Honey. I liked it. I enjoyed it way more than the first. Like, hey, it was way more enjoyable than the first film. I'm there if they for the third one. I mean, that's all I can really say about it. And it had some pretty good gore effects. And then In a Violent Nature, this one was also very unique, and I might end up picking it. Like, if a boutique label ends up doing like a Blu-ray or 4K or something, I'll probably get it. But for right now, this is good enough for me. Saw this in theaters. I enjoyed it. I was not a big fan of the last 10 minutes, but I know a lot of people really enjoyed it, and I'm excited for the next one. And then I watched Trick or Treat, the 4K, another anthology film. But this might be, but behind Wild Tales, this might be my favorite anthology film. The 4K looks great. I mean, this film is 82 minutes, and somehow it feels longer, but it flies by. Like, there's so much story. It's like the perfect Halloween film. Don't know why, we haven't got a sequel yet. I know there's reasons, but I really want it, so let's get on that. And then I watched Generation Kill, which I'm usually a really big fan of HBO miniseries, and I liked this. I mean, it was good, but there were definitely stronger episodes than others. I particularly enjoyed the last 3 episodes of this, but there's a certain expectation you have with HBO miniseries where a lot of them are extremely good. Like, I would say most of them are really good, and I kind of set myself up for failure with this because there were some people saying that this was like a modern day Band of Brothers, which, I mean, technically it's not modern day now. This is like 20 years, almost 20 years old. But to compare it to Band of Brothers, it is not like that. It is definitely more subtle. It's definitely more tame. It is a unique watch, and actually the writer of this, the reporter that, you know, reported the events of this, he actually recently passed away, so that was pretty interesting to learn about. I actually didn't figure that out until the last episode. And last but not least, we're going to talk about well, I'm not going to talk about it because I have to do a separate video talking about it, because I've been doing my what I watched, or it's Korean in whatever month I'm watching. So I ended up doing Beach Bum, which is masterpiece, and then I did Spring Breakers, which I really enjoyed, and then I did Trash Humpers, and then Gummo, which this is the Criterion 4K. I'm not going to say too much about it because I'm going to make a video about it, but yeah, you guys can expect that. And that is my what I watched in October, and that's not counting the theater visits, which it's a pretty stacked pile, I'm not going to lie. I also got a chance to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre in theaters too, which was my favorite of the month. My top 4 of the month was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Seconds, what was the third one? I can't even think of it right now. Oh yeah, Smile 2, and then Trick or Treat. So some spooky films for the month of October. What can you expect? Right now I'm watching Curzon's Disclaimer with Cate Blanchett. That's really good. I'll probably make a video about that. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you guys had a happy Halloween. Sorry I'm so tired making this video. I won't be for the next one. And yeah, take it easy.